TV, bringing good things to life. Adoa TV, bringing good things to life.
Hello there, good evening. It's 6 p.m. here at our studios here at Adoa Television. My name is Ohineba Kwesi Junohu. This is Adoa News at 6. And quickly, let's take a look at our top stories. Member of Parliament for Medina, Honorable Francis Xavier Sosu, has been in the news since last week. Again, the Member of Parliament has been able to escape another police arrest, even after Parliament issued a release to the Ghana Police Service that the Member of Parliament cannot be arrested. A resident of Zogbeili are angry that roads which have been awarded to a contractor which is almost 70% complete are already in a deplorable state. Now, let's take a look at some sports. And in sports, President of the National Paralympics Committee, Samson Dean, has been elected as head of African Paralympics Committee. Well, welcome back again. The news is brought to you by Asatech Roofing Sheet and Cookware and also Sonotech Diagnostic Center. We'll bring you more details now. Let's move on to our very first story. Parliament has stated its inability to release its member, Honorable Francis Xavier Sosu, to aid in investigations as requested by the Criminal Investigations Division of the Ghana Police Service. In a letter dated October 28, addressed to the Deputy Director General of Criminal Investigation Division, FKAJ, Parliament indicated that due to limitations on Article 117 and 118 of the 1992 Constitution, Mr. Sosu cannot be released.
This development follows a recent attempted arrest against the Medina MP by ACP Isaac Kojo Asante, Regional Operations Commander, and ACP Eric Winful of the Adentan Abokobi Divisional Commander of Police when he embarked on a protest that had been approved by the police with his constituents over bad roads on Monday, October 25. According to the legislator, prior to the protest, he received news that some protesters had blocked roads and were burning ties, thus the need to rush to the scene and de-escalate the issue before matters got worse. But after restoring calm, the police tried to forcefully take him to the station for questioning without relaying the motive, and also failed to acknowledge him as a sitting member of parliament who had a parliamentary call to attend and could not be apprehended until the Speaker of Parliament is contacted. He then filed a contempt against these two police officers before Parliament, and the Right Honourable Speaker, who was presiding at the time, referred the matter to its Privileges Committee for further investigations.
Matters, I wish that Mr. Speaker would exercise your powers under Order 31 of the Standing Orders of Parliament to refer this matter to the Privileges Committee for further investigation. I respectfully submit.
In the circumstances, I can only, under Order 31, direct that the matter be referred to the Committee of Privileges. The committee will investigate the complaint and will submit a report to the House for the full consideration of the matter.
Parliament has hence stated its inability to release its Member of Parliament for Medina, Francis Xavier Sosu, to aid in investigations as requested by the Criminal Investigation Division of the Ghana Police Service. In a letter dated October 28, addressed to the Deputy Director General of Criminal Investigation Division, FK Ajayi, Parliament indications of Articles 117 and 118 of the 1992 Constitution, Mr. Sosu cannot be released. The Deputy Director of Legal Services, Nanateria Autry, who wrote on behalf of the Clerk of Parliament, noted that he had been directed by the Right Honourable Speaker to inform the division that proceedings of the third meeting of the first session of the 8th Parliament commenced on Tuesday, 26 October 2021, and having regard to the limitations of Articles 117 and 118 of the 1992 Constitution of the Republic, he is unable to release the Member of Parliament as requested in their letter. Also, the legislative body noted that the issue is currently before the Privileges Committee to probe breach of parliamentary privilege and contempt by ACP Isaac Kojo Asante and ACP Eric Winfo of the Accra Regional Police Command and the Adentan Divisional Command, respectively. Parliament hence urged the police service to conduct its investigations mindful of the provisions of Articles 117, 118 and 112. Meanwhile, there have been another contempt by the Ghana Police Service to arrest the said MP on Sunday, October 31 at his church premises. However, the Ghana Police Service denied this media report that its personnel attempted to arrest said MP. Police maintain that any plainclothes police personnel found on the premises of the church may have been there for intelligence purpose and not to effect an arrest. Subsequently, the police bodyguard of the MP has been interdicted for alleged misconduct at the protest.
Moving on to some other stories, a retired appeals court judge, Judge Isaac Dosey, has added his voice to a resolution passed by Parliament regarding the 499 law school entrance exams candidate. According to him, Parliament cannot order the general league.
If member bill is raised in Parliament to solve the problem, or Parliament itself solves the problem. As I said, government cannot do everything. And in the environment in which we expect government to do everything, we are asking for trouble. Government cannot be all encompassing. If you do that, you give people too much power. And in some cases, they will abuse the power, or they will not be up to the task of discharging the powers that they are giving them. That is why in the developed world, there is a sharing of responsibility, in the sense that too many people are doing the same thing, and then there will be competition. And where there's competition, people excel. And those who cannot stand the competition will collapse. The same thing with the law. If you don't have the proper attitude to practice law, after a while you yourself, you will back out. That's why I was saying that the Nigerians have the saying that the test of the quality of a lawyer is in what he does when he is standing in the courtroom, not what he does in the classroom before becoming a lawyer. So they are very liberal about it. You will not hear about so many people failing examination in Nigeria. To change it and then share the responsibility for the legal training. It shouldn't be for only one person. There's something called fatigue. When you are doing the same thing all over and the thing getting too much for you, you tend to collapse. So probably the General Legal Council, as it is now, has reached its wit's end, and it doesn't know what to do anymore. So it needs help now. So other people too can join in. It can still run the system. It can still be a supervising authority, general supervising authority, but should not continue to be micromanaging legal education.
Member of Parliament for Boko Central, Honorable Mahama Yariga, is calling on the leadership of the House to update the House on a petition he filed on behalf of 2 Ghanaians whose banks were collapsed during the financial sector cleanup. 2 citizens, Prince Kofi Amwate and Dr. Kweku Dufour, petitioned Parliament to investigate the conduct of the Bank of Ghana and the conduct of the Ghana Stock Exchange for revoking the license of UT Bank as well as Unibank and delisting them from the Ghana Stock Exchange.
Member of Parliament for Boko Central, Mahama Ayariga, is asking the leadership of Parliament to update the House on a petition he filed on behalf of 2 Ghanaians whose banks were slammed during the financial sector cleanup. 2 citizens, Prince Kofi Amwabin and Dr. Kwabena Dufour, petitioned Parliament to investigate the conduct of the Bank of Ghana and the Ghana Stock Exchange for revoking the license of UT Bank as well as Unibank and delisting them from the country's stock exchange. The petition also seeks the restoration of the license of these banks. Mahama Ayariga wants the House to be furnished with an update on the matter and urged the committee to resume work on the petition in earnest. Mr. Speaker, if you recall, at the last meeting, a petition was presented to this House by 2 previous owners of some banks, and Right Honorable Speaker constituted a special committee chaired by your good self, Joseph Osei Owusu. I am just hoping that the committee is getting back to work in earnest to consider the petition, he said. Dr. Dufour, founder of the now defunct Unibank, and Mr. Amwabin, former Chief Executive Officer of collapsed UT Bank, had the license of their respective financial institutions revoked during the banking sector cleanup, which commenced in 2007. For UT Bank, the Apes Bank claimed it took the action against the institution because it was insolvent and was unable to recapitalize despite several assurances from the company's shareholders. The Apes Bank also gave similar reasons for the revocation of Unibank's license, saying the financial institution was significantly undercapitalized. The Bank of Ghana also claimed that shareholders of Unibank used monies from the bank to acquire estate properties in their own names. According to the central bank, Unibank's shareholders and related parties admitted to acquiring real estate properties in their own names using the funds from the bank under questionable circumstances. While Unibank was merged with 4 other banks to form the Consolidated Bank Ghana Limited, the Bank of Ghana gave GCB permission to overtake UT Bank. Dr. Kufuor is currently litigating the collapse of his bank with the hope of getting the court to declare that merging his bank with others to form the Consolidated Bank is null and void. Mr. Amwabin, per the petition document, said his bank's license was revoked without due regard to the rules of administrative justice guaranteed under Article 23 of the 1992 Constitution.
So now let's move straight to the presidency. Now, the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, has taken a jab at the leading opposition party in the country, National Democratic Congress, NDC, saying that the party is only good at churning out propaganda and arguing without facts. Dr. Bawumia said the MPP government has enough facts and data to back its claims of significant development in the country. He said the MPP's achievement in the country cannot be compared to that of the NDC.
The Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, has urged the MMDCEs to continue to use the facts and data to counter claims by the NDC, adding that the 2024 general elections will be won based on superior records on development in local areas. Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia has said that the MMDCEs must constantly remind and refer their constituents to the development activities of the NPP to guarantee the party victory in the 2024 elections. Our record will always be superior to the record of the NDC. The NDC is very good at propaganda. They are specialized in that, but the only way to counter the propaganda is with facts and data. They are very afraid of fact and data. This coming election in 2024 is going to be fought at the local level. It is not going to be fought in Accra. So know the project. The NDC cannot sit in Accra and lie about projects when you and your regions and districts can tell the people what we have done. When you do that, they can go and check, and the NDC cannot come back with propaganda. We have to be proactive and tell the people, Baumia said. Dr. Baumia further said infrastructure projects undertaken by the government over the years are clear indications of the government's commitment to Ghana's development, and called on the local assemblies to take advantage of the government delivery tracker platform to update the country of development works they have undertaken.
Right now, let's move up north, and we're going to Zogbeili. It's a town in the northern region where its residents usually trade and are businessmen. Roads and drainages that have been served as a contract to a particular contractor has already come under intense attack, as according to residents, the road that is 70% complete is almost in a deplorable state. The next report by our northern regional correspondent Nuruddin Ibrahim has the rest.
Residents of Zogbeili in the Tamale metropolis have expressed profound anger on the contractor in charge of their roads and drainages. According to them, even though they are not professionals, they do not need to be told that the contractor is on the verge of completing a short work. Secretary of the Concerned Youth of Zogbeili, Mr. Abdul Fattah Yakubu, addressing journalists, said the contractor on site, who happens to be the Northern Regional Chairman of the MPP, has no goodwill to deliver quality work. According to him, they were overjoyed when the project was awarded, but little did they know that their hopes and aspirations will not be met. Mr. Abdul Fattah, cataloguing the problem associated with the drainage, mentioned that the contractor has failed to relocate some electricity poles along the drains, which is now situated on the roads, with some poles even situated in the drains.
Owned by the regional chairman of the MPP, Mr. Muhammad S. Bantama, better known as Chairman Samba, aware that we the inhabitants are those who will be saddled with future problems resulting from the shoddy works that are being done, and we hope to avert any future disasters by bringing this to light for the right thing to be done by Chairman Samba. We are therefore calling on all stakeholders concerned, especially the Department of Urban Roads, to, as a matter of urgency, take note, investigate the concerns raised above, and direct Chairman Samba and his company to do what is required to ensure that the community and the nation is not shortchanged by any greedy contractor who only cares about maximizing profits by delivering an inferior project. We wish to put on record that we are people of influence who will not tolerate the continued marginalization of our community by a political party which should know better, and we shall advise ourselves to our future voting pattern if it is found out that we are deliberately being treated with contempt by the leaders of the MPP government or leaders in the region. We have no hidden agenda. We have no agenda at all costs. All costs. We don't have any agenda against anybody. And we are not doing this to spite anyone, apart from demanding what is right for our community. And the key word here is not, we are not spiting anybody against anyone. The agenda is very clear and clean, and we are very genuine about it. We shall...
Mr. Abdul Fattah therefore called on all stakeholders, especially the Department of Urban Roads, to, as a matter of urgency, direct the contractor to do what is required of him.
Not wide and enough, not wide and deep enough, and has resulted in smaller gutters. Number two, a casual look at the concrete even reveals a clear indication of insufficient cement and a revelation of cracks in the concrete drains, some of which are less than 3 months old. Number three, some electricity distribution poles have not been relocated, resulting in those poles now situated on the roads or covered in concrete. Number 4, a good distance of the drains constructed do not have the required slope, causing trenches of stagnant water being retained in the drains. Number 5, the contractor destroyed the main line supplying water to the area and left them unattended to weeks, and has failed to properly relocate some of the pipelines, leading to some of the drains being constructed on top of.
In Veterans, some of the agitated residents spoke to Adoa News after the press conference.
Against it, to give us hope that at least year in, year out, we won't experience flooding again. But we have seen that from the start of the project, we have complained, but we have seen that there are minor infractions and major breaches of the contract that was awarded. And we could see from a cursory look that most of the things are not being done well. And it is our belief that if left untouched, it will lead to the same problems we were expecting before. So we think we should bring this to light so that we know we're happy about the project, but as it stands now, the delivery is not a good product, and we are out against it.
Right, solely matters relating to the Northern region and the Savannah region. The Savannah Regional Minister, Honorable Said Muhazu Jibril, in collaboration with the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, placed a ban on illegal logging and commercial charcoal burning in the Savannah region. That being said, recently charcoal has seen a huge increment in prices as most consumers assume because of the consistent rains, transportation of charcoal has been difficult. However, traders argue otherwise. The next report has the rest.
Meet Madame Mary. She has been selling charcoal in Accra for the past 35 years. She tells me, not too long ago, a bag of charcoal sold at 40 to 45 Ghana cedis. But now, a bag is almost 100 Ghana cedis. That is, even from the wholesalers. She has to sell a bag of charcoal for 120 Ghana cedis. And this is her reason.
First lunch, Kotokul or the brand 35. Sutore, Tora Kotoku or the man 45. Says I bring a yabi, a shot. It's in that Bruno, Cannon Ponduha, Oyema, prepare for now. Yakwa or the man 90, 95. But Buma is getting also.
Madame Yawa also has been selling charcoal for the past 25 years, and her case is no different. She says,
"When you're 20, 1 year, to see how the Yamian in Ukraine, your brapa will be dinner. To see a man or mano, Skakrana Bakrai and Timin talk, no word. And so Mrs. Yamijina Mukutan Kola, a Bimoko school. Yes, I say, you know, here, dear. We say, ye be more high near Jumobia, be dear Jumanuana, ye. And to say, ya be dear noir, ya watcher yankasa. Because a boo high in yesterday, to say, you know, him yesterday, be dear no qua. And say, I be dear now, but short to some of my young Tom be dear beam, and my watcher, my pa, Major half winning now, be an enemy. First, and I be dear on me, Tom be dear no, over Banahana, ya ma. Basisiano, me did a capre, me nippy, we'll cry at the bremino, a pano de buy, a pano cho, so my mentor, Naminyakakra, and for Mankle and I'm Fanisicam.
Miss Na sells food and she says the current price of charcoal is really taking a toll on her business. The Savannah Regional Minister, Honorable Said Muhazu Jibril, in collaboration with the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, placed a ban on commercial charcoal burning and illegal logging in the Savannah region. On the back of this decision, a task force was established to see to the seizure of some tracts of charcoal and some logs. According to the sellers, as a result of this, many tracks from the Savannah region and some northern regions have failed to show up, hence the reason for the serious hikes in charcoal prices.
Let's move on to some less aggressive stories. It is a festival characterized by a lot of dancing and a lot of singing. The Damba Festival is celebrated by the people of the West Gonja municipality. This year, the chiefs and people of Busunu in the Savannah region have marked this year's Damba Festival with a call on subjects to work towards promoting peace and tranquility in the region. The next report by our Savannah regional correspondent Salifu Adams-Jabu has the rest.
The Damba Festival is celebrated annually among the Gonjas, Walas, Dagombes, and the Mampusis to mark the birth of the Holy Prophet of Islam, Muhammad. This year saw the attendance of high-profile government officials, various paramount chiefs, opinion leaders, youth groups, amongst many others who all came to pay homage to Busunura, Jonokbono II, Artist Palace. As custom and traditions demand, during this day, the people also renew their allegiance to the skin symbols of authority and make pledges to avail themselves for any duties when called upon. Speaking at the Grand Deba, the municipal chief executive of the West Gonja municipality commended the people of the traditional area for their peaceful coexistence. According to him, the government is committed to bringing development and jobs to the people of the West Gonja municipality. With the valor of excitement, all 23 sharp chiefs and queen mothers of various tribes and invited guests took turns on the dance floor to exhibit their dancing skills. The traditional delicacy of this festival, Tozafi, or popularly known as Tizet, and meat, a staple food in the traditional area, was led with prayers before dishing it out. Mr. Yakubu Bari, secretary of the Fulani Association Tabita Pukalu International, used the opportunity to advise his fellow Fulanis in the Busunu traditional area to be law-abiding citizens and to promote unity.
To be with you today in this day ever. I think we feel we are home because the Fulanis and the Gondas are the same. I think we started this land, the Gonja land, together. I think we started at Mamboa with the warrior, Ikabundi Japa, about 400 years back. That is a long history. But let me touch on some serious issue surrounding our Fulanis before I take my seat. The first on the list is about armed robbery. The armed robbery across this region has been always tagged as the Fulanis, which is very, very unfortunate. I would also like to employ all Fulanis here to distance themselves from armed robbery that is happening elsewhere in this region or across the country. Recent happenings elsewhere have given us a moral belief that it is a process under which certain people attack the Fulanis. So we must desist on this outward crime. In the Fulanis, decades before, were known as very loyal and honest people. Let's ask ourselves as Fulanis, what is happening today? Are we still the loyal people and the honest people we have been about decades back? I think we have to check ourselves that way.
A beautiful Damba festival for you. That'll be all for the local news segment. But before we go for a break and come back for business, according to tax analyst poor or low-income earners are the ones who suffer the most at the hands of what we call indirect taxes. We'll bring you more right after this break. Please stay.
Welcome aboard the safest airline in Africa. With industry-leading safety measures to protect your well-being. The first in Africa to earn a diamond standard of safety. Offering a more contactless, safe, and seamless experience. Delivered with a smile by Africa's first fully vaccinated crew. Creating special memories that bring the joy back to flying, so you can continue making memories with your loved ones. Book your flight with RwandAir today. RwandAir, the safest airline in Africa.
RwandAir, fly the dream of Africa.
Yeah, CB will make up now. I'm correct. What's your best mankasa? That's it. Oh, middle. You captures back on CB men capsules. You see, CB men capsules in America.
Yeah, you see men and women's capsules now. You name the data. And one year packaging I had.
Wow! What a packaging! CB men, any CB women capsules, no packaging is out. And you also no mood any biansan wako do mpegi
she apemfo any abata woman kwada no fo any kwada won di fie du enka ho
Susanna Ghana man be man tamase
Adoa 0247 111671 and 0246 578 750. FDA aje edwedin kato yato.
Blue City is a manufacturer and supplier of high-quality fashion accessories. We design and make quality bow ties, flying ties, lapel pins, ladies' brooches, fabric necklaces, African wares, and so much more for your weddings, schools, institutions, bands, choir, singing groups, individuals, and so many more. We use both African prints and foreign fabrics to make your beautiful accessories for you. Oh yeah! Contact us via call or WhatsApp or SMS on 0240-926-564. Locate us at Odoko Official Town opposite Emils Preparatory School. Check us out on social media, Facebook and Instagram at Blue City Fashion. Blue City, creativity and style.
Back from that commercial break, don't forget, this is still Adoa News at 6. We're streaming live on Facebook at Adoatv GH. My name is Ohineba Kwesijuno, and now let's do some business. We are too focused on indirect taxes. These are the words of tax analyst Francis Timoreboy when my colleague Nanyema Collison asked him if Ghana's taxing system is a fair one. The tax analyst lamented that the indirect tax affects the poor the most.
People complain about Ghana's taxing system being unfair. Per where you sit, do you think our taxing system is fair and why?
I think we are too much focused on indirect tax. There's a reason for that. The reason is that it's easy to collect. You see, if you are a government and you impose indirect tax, businesses, you use businesses to collect it. So the VAT, the GET fund and all those things. So technically the administration is very easy to do. More also, you have a lot of people consuming. You can't stay and say you won't buy anything. So, for example, the 20 pesos levy that was imposed on petroleum products in the last budget, almost everybody is affected. Because if you don't buy petrol, you join Trotro.
And Trotro pays it.
Yes, so you don't have an option. So you have a larger consumption base. So even if it is very small, because the people are many, you end up raising enough revenue. You understand? So that is why people may think that yes, it's a nuisance, but it is easy to collect. And the second reason why we may be more focused on indirect taxes if we are not doing too well with the direct taxes. So, for example, you may not have enough companies in the country. You may not, administratively, you can't even locate the people and tax them. You can't determine how much each person makes as income. So under that circumstance, you realize that they may not be too much focused on the direct taxes, but they will more be inclined to the indirect taxes. So that is the reason why they do. Now the bad aspect is that indirect tax affects the poor the most. So if we are all going to buy, let's say, a ton of milk, indirect tax of, let's say, 12.5% VAT, assuming is slapped on it. If the ton of milk costs 1 cedi, then I'm going to pay a tax of 12.5% VAT. The rich man will buy the same ton of milk and he'll pay the same thing. And I mean, society will expect that income or taxes should be more progressive. The more you earn,
the more you should pay.
Still in business, ahead of the 2022 budget presentation by Finance Minister Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta, stakeholders have shared diverse opinions about how governments can raise more revenue. Sharing his opinion with my colleague Nanya Macaulay, tax analyst Francis Timoroboy once again has said that governments should start running the public sector as the private sector.
Director of Business Operations at Dilex Finance, Joe Jackson, has urged government to sell off some state assets to rake in more revenue and reduce borrowing.
Now, with respect to the budget, we want to see what the government will do long term to reduce the borrowing and to raise revenue. We can't just keep borrowing. One of the things I want to see happen is that the government to sell off some of the state assets. Some of the big stakes in some of the companies must be sold so that the revenue requirement for next year will drop a bit, right? And there are some hard decisions we have to take.
But tax analyst Francis Timoroboy disagree, saying that selling state assets is not the right way to go, but government should run it as a private sector.
I do not believe that selling them will do us any good. It's just like selling your chicken which lays the egg. The problem we have with the state institutions are that we are not able to put them to tax to perform. Look, we have state institutions that perform essential functions and they can be profitable. So why don't we really lead them? Why don't you take our hands off? I mean, as politicians, we need to take our hands off for these institutions to perform. It should be managed like a corporate institution, a company.
Like if it's for a private sector.
Exactly. We should allow them to operate as private entities. If we really want to develop the nation, that is where we should go. Selling them off will just give you some small amount of money. Some investors will come and buy it and tomorrow they turn it out and then it is better for them. So I wouldn't advocate that we should sell them off. What we need is a change in philosophy and management policy. We should just change those ones. And maybe sometimes government appointments onto those boards, we can stop them. Give it to private entities for them to manage. You understand? Then I believe that will rather do us good.
For other business
or for business, we'll be back with sports.
Blue City is a manufacturer and supplier of high-quality fashion accessories. We design and make quality bow ties, flying ties, lapel pins, ladies' brooches, fabric necklaces, African wares, and so much more for your weddings, schools, institutions, bands, choir, singing groups, individuals, and so many more. We use both African prints and foreign fabrics to make your beautiful accessories for you. Oh yeah! Contact us via call or WhatsApp or SMS on 0240 926 564. Locate us at Odoko Official Town opposite Emils Preparatory School. Check us out on social media, Facebook and Instagram at Blue City Fashion. Blue City, creativity and style.
Back to our studios once again. This is still the evening news at 6 here on Adoa Television. Now, let's quickly move on to some sports. President of the National Paralympics Committee, Ghana, Samson Dean, was yesterday, 31st October 2021, elected as the new head of the African Paralympics Committee at the General Assembly in Rabat, Morocco. Dean he pulled 24 out of the total votes being casted as against his Moroccan counterpart Hamid, who pulled 15 votes. Samson Dean, speaking after his victory, said he wants the people of Morocco to know that he still needs their support to eradicate problems facing Paralympics in Africa.
Well, we came to Morocco as a family, and that is exactly what you have seen. It's not a competition. Africa will move forward. Hamid is a senior brother. In fact, we have relationship. But our vision is different. The direction is different. He did not lose an election, but rather he won. I'm a winner. Myself and Hamid, we are going to work. I want the people of Morocco to accept that it is a family gathering that we did. It's a family, we shared ideas, and I will still need his support as a senior brother, experienced person, to help us achieve the very problems that we think that we have to eradicate from Africa. I want the people, the press from Morocco, not to lose hope. What has come is a victory for Africa. I know you all press here, there are so many ways of writing your story. But please, it is a victory for Hamid and myself. Nobody lost the election. Nobody. It's just a family gathering, and we thought that we needed a new direction. We have served, and I'm going to work with him to make sure, with the executive board, to make sure that Africa succeed as we all want.
Say a big congratulations to Mr. Dean for that victory. And still in victories, the 2021-2022 Ghana Premier League season started over the weekend with Kotoko, the Team United, King Faisal, all getting their taste of their first victory, while defending champions Accra Hearts Vogue dropped important points to city rivals Legon Cities in the match day one of the 2021-2022 Ghana Premier League season.
The 2021-2022 Ghana Premier League season started Friday night. Ghana Premier League newcomer Accra Lions FC came from behind to draw 1-1 with Elmina Sharks FC in the opening fixture of the 2021-2022 campaign on Friday night. Sharks got the breakthrough in the 64th minute through Sapong. The host drew level in the 82nd minute after talisman Salifu scored Lions' first ever goal in the Ghanaian top flight. Dreams FC and Asante Kotoko were the top liner for the week at Accra Sports Stadium in this match day one fixture of the 2021-2022 Ghana Premier League. Asante Kotoko staged a remarkable comeback when they scored 3 goals in the last 5 minutes of their match day one encounter against Dreams at the Accra Sports Stadium on Saturday. Salifumos Dasiru, Richmond Lamte, and Isaac Opong scored the goal for the Porcupine Warriors after Fatawu Ishaku delivered a stunning solo strike for the home side midday through the second half. After the game, head coach of Kotoko, Dr. Prosper Ogum, said he had
it was an amazing victory.
debut.
If you look at the way the goals came, getting to the dying embers of the game, where we were down and we were under pressure, and looking at the way the boys still kept to the game plan, the shape, the team shape, and how we were able to play those combination passes, I would say it was an amazing thing. It wasn't a wrong substitution I did. We were losing the second balls in the middle of the park. So I realized that Gamma was a little bit tired because they were kicking him all over the place. So I decided to pull him, instead of us playing two offensive midfielders, to pull him and then bring in Richard Wedu to add up to Mudasiru. Mudasiru is a bit mobile so that he will join attack and at the same time join the defense when we lose the ball. And when Richard Wedu came, you realize that we have some stability. And because Mudasiru is mobile and can give those penetrative passes, we're able to open up their defense. And Isaac on the right, I mean, he's a fantastic player. He's very good on the ball. He was able to take the left back of Dreams on most of the time, created those chances for his teammates to score, and he himself scored. So it was a good substitution with it. We tried to just make sure that we solidified the middle of the park because we realized that Isaaku, anytime he had the ball, had some free space to operate. So we brought in Agadas to mark the space and at the same time keep an eye on him. So if you realize when Agadas came in, he was out of the game from that time. If you watch the clip again, you will.
Elsewhere in Tamale Ghana Premier League, returnees RTU scored a 1-1 draw against Great Olympics at the Ali Mahama Sports Stadium. Midfielder Raymond Oko gave Olympics the lead with a free header, and they protected it until the 91st minute when they conceded a penalty. Attacking midfielder Abanga, who joined RTU from Ashanti Gold, converted the penalty to score 1 point for RTU. Champions Heart of Oak made a frustrating start to their title defense as they were held by Legon Cities at the Accra Sports Stadium on Sunday. The Phobians, despite their dominance, failed to score and settled for a 0-0 draw in their opening game in the new season. Samuel Buidu after the match said it was a good game even though they drew.
This is the time that we have to sit down and analyze the situation, where the problem is, so that we can solve the problem, then we take off. It was the attacking side because we created a lot of chances. At least we should have scored 1 goal, but we squandered all the chances, but we still have more time to work on them.
The remaining result of the match day 1 are Bibiani Gold Stars 1, Brecum Chelsea 0, King Faisal 1, Wafa 0, Bechem United 4, Mediama SC 0, 11 Wonders 0, Ashanti Gold 1, Karela United 1, and the
Let's move away from soccer and let's do some tennis. Emmanuel Komi beat former national top seed Derek Abrefa in a 5-set to emerge winner of the 2021 Homowo Tennis Championship held at the Hatta Marini Sports Hall of the Accra Sports Stadium. Both players came into the men's final on the back of important semi-final battles. Abrefa knocking out Bernard in another 5-setter, while Komi brushed aside Enes Mauto 3-1 to set a date with his rival.
The Homowo Challenge Championship, dubbed Malogo Spins and Smashes to commemorate the Ghana Homowo Festival. Last Saturday's competition was organized by the Ghana Table Tennis Association, GTTA, with sponsorship from corporate partners. It was a ding-dong battle between the two officers as the Ghana Immigration Service until Komi prevailed in the fifth set to win the clash 3-2 for a deserved victory to claim the winner's trophy and a cash prize of 2,400 Ghanaian cedis. One of the biggest open tournaments in recent years, the challenge featured about 280 participants, including 48 female players comprising established stars and upcoming players such as a 13-year-old Emmanuel Agatre, one-time African table tennis queen Ethel Jacks, SWAG president Mr. Kwamina Yeboah, and GTTA president Mr. Mauko Afadino. The women's final was equally thrilling as ever. Adom Amankwa of the Ghana Army had little trouble taking care of Cynthia Kwabi of the Ghana Immigration Service, who lost 3-0. Eva was awarded the winner's trophy and a sum of 2,400 Ghanaian cedis by three-time African champion Ethel Jacks. Runner-ups Abrifa and Cynthia went home with 1,200 Ghanaian cedis, while Sam and Mauto each had 600 Ghanaian cedis for finishing joint third in the men's competition. Matilda Foley of the Volta region finished third ahead of fourth-placed Bernice Bokwe of the Ghana Navy, each of whom went home with 600 Ghanaian cedis. Emmanuel Kwame of the Ghana Immigration Service expresses delight for winning the championship and his readiness to represent Ghana at the West African Championship in Lagos, Nigeria from November 1st to 4th, 2021.
Start the game, but I just told myself I'm a guy, so I shouldn't give up. When he won the first game, I was like, no, we are playing in repetition. So let me try to win it. And that even ginger me to play repetition. Thank you very much. Let's name it.
All for sports and the news in general. Now let's take a quick look at our top stories before we leave you. Member of Parliament for Medina, Honorable Francis Xavier Zosu, has been in the news since last week. Again, he has been able to escape another police arrest even after Parliament issued a report to the Ghana Police Service that they cannot release the MP to them. Residents of Zogbeli are angry that roads that have been awarded on contracts, which are almost 70% complete, are already in a deplorable state. The scarcity of charcoal recently has caused almost a 50% increment in its prices. Both sellers and consumers are lamenting, and we brought you more details of that. First, we were told, and we told you also, that President of the National Paralympics Committee, Samson Dean, was yesterday elected as head of the African Paralympics Committee. We all for the news at 6 here in our studios on the John Evans Atamos High Street. My name is Emmanuel Wilson. Regulators is up next. Do enjoy the rest of the program and have a beautiful good evening.